Everybody, Allison Gardner here. Now, it's only fair after sharing the pit stops in the journey and some of the painful things in this journey of learning to love myself that I also share a success. And it's actually been so long since I feel like I had one that it's not that I haven't shared them, I just kind of have been stuck in this cycle of not seeing the good things and not seeing the positives. And last night I found myself going, wow, this feels really good. And I realized that I wanted to remember the wow, this feels really good, as much as the ouch, that really hurt. So here I am to share the yay, this was a good thing. And it's very multifold. But first thing I'm going to say is there is hope in this process. And I can't tell you how many times that I kind of have, not kind of, there's no kind of about it. I have felt very discouraged and very frustrated and just very much like, wow, this is going to take a lifetime and this is going to be horrible. Horrible in just the sense of I'm just going to keep doing this drudgery day after day after day after day after day. Because that's what I had seen and that's what I was familiar with. And as I've mentioned before, when your synapses, in your brain, there's pathways that are built up over time. And these pathways are called synapses. And these synapses are trains of thought. So it's directions that your thoughts go repeatedly over time. And for my brain has repeatedly gone in the, wow, this is going to be hard, or wow, I'm not good enough, or second guessing myself, or all of these negative directions for a long time. And not in obvious ways, but just sort of in quiet, repetitive ways. And so now that I'm trying to change them, it's not until now that I'm trying to change them that I see how entrenched that they are, and the kind of work that I now have in front of me to figure it out, and to make changes and to be different. And I really hope this makes sense when I get to the end of it, because there's so much life that happens, and these videos are such a brief snapshot, and I want them to be accurate, but I also know that nobody wants to spend an hour watching this. Unless you do, then let me know below, and then I would take a completely different approach. But for this moment and for what I'm talking about, last week I set the intention that I wasn't going to expect this Christmas to be like any other Christmas before. And that helped tons to make that choice and to make that decision. And things were still hard, but they were better because I wasn't expecting things to be like they used to be. I just was trusting that they would be however they were going to be. And so I had a much better perspective about things and an understanding of things, which was fantastic. Still some crying, and I still saw how much I wanted control. And how much I was still trying to have things be in my control, and they weren't. And also how much I was still, when I say control, it's twofold. One is like I like getting my way sometimes, but in being so concerned and so worried about what other people think, I want my way sometimes because so much of my life is trying to outguess everybody and what everybody else wants, and to do things just their way and to do things that will please them. And so then on the times where I kind of chuck that out the window, then I really want control because I want things my way because I've spent so much time not doing them my way. And guess what? The extremes of either one are not healthy. And as I've been doing this process of loving myself and hearing my own voice and owning my voice and owning my needs and owning what I want, I swing from trying to guess what everybody else wants and does and do everything that anybody else could ever want, to swinging to the, but I'm so tired of doing that I just want my way. And I want someone to care about me in the same way that I care about everybody else. But because how I care about everybody else isn't always healthy, it's not good if other people care about me that same way. So just know that's kind of that's the groundwork here for what I'm about to share. Is anytime anybody mentions anything, I go into this mode of, how can I make that happen? How can I help them? What can I do? Even if they don't ask me for help, I am still I'm still putting myself out there in really not healthy ways. So this is where I'm at. Got through Christmas trying to let go and trying not to control and not make things my way because I want them my way, and let them be. And I get to Monday, which is, actually I get to yesterday, which is Tuesday. And I had started the break looking at having all of this time to be able to do with whatever I wanted. And then things came up and stuff happened, and I didn't guard my time, and I didn't carve out time for myself like I thought, because I just thought that I would have 10 days to do with whatever I wanted, and then found out that other people had other ideas. And because I didn't say no, because I didn't set any boundaries for myself, I just did it. And so then I got to yesterday and realized that yesterday was like my one day that I could just do whatever I wanted. And I was so afraid that I was going to waste this day. And that was my fear, this overarching fear of just that I was going to not use it well. And I had all of these other voices popping up in my head, about, well, for a good holiday, you should do these things. Or what would my coworkers think if I told them that I did this? Or like, people are going to think that I'm lame if that, or I need to go do these things to be a dutiful person. And I had all of this stuff swarming around in my head, and I shared this with my friend. And my friend is like, do you ever just choose what you want because you want it? And I was like, nope. Because I don't ever give myself the time to, I never give myself the time to just try things. I never give myself the time to hear, to listen, because there's so many other noises and there's so many other voices in my head. And so yesterday I had a major breakthrough in that I kicked out every other voice and I kicked out every other noise. And I sat with myself and I said, okay, Allison, what do you want? Well, it so happened that yesterday, after getting up to talk to my friend, I then went back to bed for like 3 hours, and it was beautiful. And then I got up and I was like, okay, I have a whole day ahead of me. What do I want to do? And I realized that I was so tired. And I've been changing, and so many things have been changing, and I've been growing and adjusting and all of these different things, that I just wanted to sit. And I watched a TV show about turning shipping containers into houses. And guess what, guys? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Just sitting and just listening to what I wanted. And giving myself that time to do what I valued and what I cared about. And then last night, as I was reflecting on the day, and that was a huge step forward, to just listen to what I wanted and what I cared about. And then I had a moment where I stepped back into my controlling self and my slightly demanding self. And I just went, wow, like, is this ever really going to get better? And my inner self said, whoa, wait a minute. What did you do today? You took a step forward. And I said, okay, what other things can I do that are in my control? What are other things that I can do that are within my realm? Not everybody else's realm, but my realm. And so I went through my budget And for this, I reviewed 6 months of expenses and 6 months of where I'd been putting my money, and I created a new budget for 2021 and where I wanted to put my money and how I wanted to save for the future. And I took control of what was within my control. It was so powerful. And then realizing that I needed to arrange some different things in my budget, I texted a friend and asked if we could do something different than going out to lunch so that I could start budgeting that differently. Now, for anybody else, this probably is just like, okay, big whoop, like you texted somebody. Guys, I saw what I wanted and needed to do, and I acted on it because it was important to me. After spending years never daring to say something that might potentially, possibly inconvenience someone else, I stood up for myself. And not only did I see something that was in my control, I took control of it and I communicated that to somebody else. And guess what? It didn't break the relationship. In fact, the relationship is better because I'm coming as myself, and I'm coming with what I need, and I'm coming with what I want. And I felt so powerful. This breakthrough is showing me that one of the most important things that I can do for myself is listening to myself and owning myself. And own what I need, and own what I want, and own my boundaries, and own where I'm coming from. Because in trying to figure out how to love myself and in trying to figure out how to give myself space, I looked at everybody else and I looked at everybody around me and tried to cater to their boundaries and cater to their needs and cater to what they were going for. And it didn't work. Because they needed their own boundaries and they needed their own space and they needed to ask for their own needs to be met. And how powerful it is to finally realize that I can do that. I have no idea what today will bring. I have no idea what tomorrow will bring. As I mentioned in a previous video, this process is seriously cyclical. But I am so excited that I really can put into practice what I'm learning, and that there really is hope for change. There is hope as you learn to love yourself, because there are good days too. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.